and welcome to Decoding Life. My name is Aishani. I'm the host of this podcast, and today we have the amazing and energetic Miss Valeria. She's a French and Spanish teacher at Raha, and she's been here for as long as I can remember. So, hi, Miss Valeria.
Hi, Aishani. Thank you so much for having me. Hello, everyone. And
Can you please introduce yourself to the audience?
sure, yes. Some of you will know me. My name is Valeria Milanesio. I've been at Raha for 4 years now, and I'm originally from Italy. I wasn't always a teacher. I've been a teacher for 12 years now, but before I work in business. I have a business background. I lived in United Kingdom before coming to UAE.
I did not know you had a business background.
Yes, I do have a business background. I work in office management for quite a few years, and before that, I work as a hairdresser. So this is kind of my third profession. Yeah.
I don't think many people know that. That's actually really interesting to know about you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, not many people know that. That's right.
So I can see like you're very diverse in your skill set because you were a hairdresser, then you went into business, and you're teaching two different languages, which none of which are your native language. So that's a lot. And I think there's definitely some struggle in that. And a lot of students at Raha who have to, they're almost forced to study another language. They often struggle to learn it. And that's also coming from my experience. I'm struggling to learn languages. So how did you go about that?
My personal experience, I think I was lucky in terms of geographical position where I was born and raised, which is the north of Italy, very close to France. So I was already I grew up bilingual because apart from Italian, I learned the local language, which was a mix between Italian and French, but actually closer to French is the regional language. But I also know that a lot of students at Raha arrive already bilingual. They have English and another language. I think it's the same for you,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
So how
Yeah.
can we, because obviously you had that advantage where you were from a place in Europe that you can kind of find it easy to learn languages. But how can we as students go about that?
Yeah, I think that students struggle with languages because of the demand of learning a new language. I know the IB program is quite intense. You have a lot of subjects, and learning a language requires time and patience.
Yeah.
And maybe you're used with other subjects where you can learn fairly quickly or get a really good result and a good grade much faster than probably with the language process. So I think is that idea that you people want to learn really quickly and get become fluent within a year, but it doesn't work like that. There is a bit of misconception.
You have to
I
be
think
very patient with it. It's a time-taking process.
absolutely yes.
I can also see that because there are some people I know, like they would have learned Arabic, for example, for 9 years since it's mandatory, but they still can't have a basic conversation. I don't know if that's more of a problem with how much they're prioritizing as a language, but from in that sense, you can see how much of a time-taking process it is.
Yeah, I also think that Arabic, for an English speaker, Arabic is actually considered one of the most difficult languages to learn. So I think it also depends which language we are talking about. Arabic is one of the most difficult languages to learn. It's not just me saying, research says that. And it also depends what is your starting language. For me, learning French and Spanish was kind of easy-ish because my first language is Italian and French and Spanish are all Romance languages. So for someone else whose first language is something completely different, then it's going to be harder. So it depends. Your starting point, student starting point, they're all different.
Yeah. I think we have to also recognize that. So when we are in this journey of learning new languages and learning to communicate in many different languages, we have to realize that we may be better at some than others because of where we come from and where our starting point is. But regardless of that, say I want to learn, like for me, for example, I don't have any like my starting point for French, for example, is pretty low. I didn't have much knowledge about it. Now, obviously, I've been learning it for 3 years, so it's a little bit better. But how do you think I can increase the pace of my learning? I know it's a time-taking process, but either way, is there a way that I can?
Yeah, I always tell my students that the 2 hours lesson or even a bit less in school are not enough. Languages required it's a constant process. You need to be consistent. It's better to do few minutes each day rather than leaving it just okay. One day a week I will do 1 hour of French or whatever. Uh, so is keeping at it and having that consistency and spending a bit of time every day. Also, you need to find an area of interest and link that to, let's say, French. You're saying you want to improve your French. Do you like sport? Watch a tennis match or a football match in French? Something that interests you in your own language. Link that to French and spend some time with it and be patient. You have to acknowledge that is um, it's a lifelong journey. Learning a language. Yeah.
So you're basically learning a new way to communicate, which is a huge process. So it's basically about consistent repetition, and
Yeah.
to do that, you need to find something that you like so you can stick with it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I think another problem that I think a lot of students have is that there's this mindset that I see in quite a lot of people around me in my grade and other grades that, oh, it's a language, and with tools like Google Translate and AI also coming into the picture now, there's they don't see much point in learning a new language, because after all, if you ever have to speak with a person, first of all, most people speak English as it is, but if you ever come across a situation where you have to speak another language, you can just use Google Translate, and that's why they don't really see the point in it. So what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, it's on this day and age, it's really hard to motivate students. Okay, you learn a language because you will need it one day, like you said. Everyone speak English, but I think it's more to do with that personal achievement of managing to have a conversation in French, in Spanish, or whatever language you are learning. Yes, it's true that with AI, Google Translate, we can type a sentence, click on the microphone, show it to the person in front of us, bim bum bam. But the personal satisfaction of doing that yourself is priceless. So I think it's keeping in mind that ultimate goal, of
Like
a personal, yes, something to work towards to, and that personal achievement of being able to communicate in a language you've been learning for X years. Yeah.
I think on another side note of that, I think not just going up to someone and talking to them, but also you can connect with so many more people, even if they speak English. Like, imagine someone walks up to you and you speak English, right? But they start speaking your native language, so that ultimately creates some sort of bond and interest. So I think there's also a lot of social networking you can do with that as well, now that I think about it. So learning a language actually does have a lot of benefits. And again, it's about that consistency and repetition, I think. So you build up to that, and the end goal
Yes.
is to be able to talk in that language.
Absolutely. Connection with people when you manage to talk to them in their language, you really talk to their heart. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's different if you can communicate in their own language. The connection will be at a different level for sure. Yeah.
I think languages is not just about speaking. As far as I've seen, like in school, for example, we learn to speak, read, and write. But how do we go about learning those things in a way that is feasible, and so we're not spending an hour a day? Because as you said, the IB is very intense.
Yeah.
So we also don't have an hour a day to learn the language. We need to find a way that's feasible for us in our student lives. to integrate it every day and be consistent with it.
Yeah, yeah, like I was saying, find something that I think you should look at it as okay, in my free time, I'll watch, let's say, a series on Netflix that you like. There are a lot of series, movies that will be in French or in Spanish. So maybe looking at that as not a chore, but as part of, oh, in my free time, I would be watching that series. What about I watch it in French with English subtitle? Yeah, so try to build that into your day, or maybe doing the challenges on Duolingo, interact with other people across the world, the competition. There are lots of interactive ways in French. Maybe you are into sport. So find that in French.
Hi, thank you so much for watching our podcast with Miss Valeria. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please check out our other podcasts on our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.